Honestly, I don't even know where to start with this. Do we start with... I don't even know. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be tackling Don't Worry Darling. And tackling, I think, is really only the appropriate word for it because there's so much going on with this movie and so much has been going on for so long that it's just a lot. If you don't know by now, there is a movie coming out soon called Don't Worry Darling, starring Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, directed by Olivia Wilde. And there has been drama surrounding this movie honestly since it was announced back in 2020. And yesterday it was premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and basically it's just like, if you open the app of Twitter, all that is being talked about is Don't Worry Darling. Not the film though, just the drama surrounding the film. The film is barely being talked about. So today I'm going to do my best to explain to you guys sort of the full timeline of the drama surrounding this movie, because I know a lot of people kind of don't really know like where this all started. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. So it all started in April of 2020. That's when it was announced that this movie was happening, Don't Worry Darling, directed by Olivia Wilde, and originally starring, at the time, Florence Pugh, Shia LaBeouf, and Chris Pine. Then in September of 2020, it was announced that Harry Styles would be replacing Shia due to scheduling conflicts. And the air quotes around that are important. Then filming begins October 2020. Everyone's really excited for the film because it's got Florence Pugh and Harry Styles in it. Then November of 2020 comes around and Olivia announces that her and her fiance of 7 years are splitting. Her fiance was Jason Sudeikis. They have 2 kids together, and she announces in November that they are breaking up. They're splitting. Then in December of 2020, it's sort of made known that Shia was apparently dropped from the film, aka fired, due to poor behavior. I believe the poor behavior that's talked about is the way he was acting towards Florence Pugh, and that's important to keep in mind because we revisit that later in the timeline. To recap 2020, Shia is fired, Harry is put on the movie, Olivia and her fiance of 7 years break up, filming starts, all that. 2 months after Olivia and Jason split, I would say is when like the drama really kind of starts to happen, because in January of 2021, Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde are photographed at Harry's manager's wedding, and I think that was kind of like their first official like couple outing. I would say that that's when the drama started, at least within the Harry fandom, because it was a big deal that Harry was like being publicly seen with someone. And it was an even bigger deal that it was Olivia, and it was like only 2 months after her and Jason had just split, and it was kind of like a whole shocking moment. And then in February of 2021, filming for the movie wraps. To break down like the relationship, I guess, of Harry and Olivia, from what I understand, is that they were not dating when the movie started filming, and then throughout the course of filming on the movie, either Olivia realized that she really liked Harry, or whatever the case is. Like, there's a whole bunch of speculation and it depends on who you talk to, but the general consensus though is that when Olivia and Harry started seeing each other, Olivia kind of forgot about her responsibilities on set of the movie. So it's rumored that Florence had to take over the responsibilities of like directing the entire second half of the movie pretty much, because Olivia was just like not doing her job on set. That's just a rumor. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but it's pretty heavily rumored, and it kind of makes sense when you look at how Olivia and Florence don't really like each other. But we'll get to that. So filming wraps in February of 2021, and everything for the film is pretty quiet until we get to April of this year. And then starting in April until literally yesterday, like everything kind of just goes up in flames for this movie. In April of 2022, a process server delivers custody papers to Olivia Wilde while she is on stage at CinemaCon, and it was kind of a big ordeal. On the envelope that she's handed, it says personal and private information, and she for some reason thought that it was a script. So she thought it would be a good idea to open it on stage, and then she reads it and she realizes that they're custody papers, and it was just awkward. And after that, Olivia like tried to create a narrative or say that like Jason purposely served those papers to her while she was on stage, and that he wanted that to happen and he wanted her to be publicly embarrassed. But from what I understand, I don't think that the person sending the papers is allowed to know when they're getting delivered. I'm pretty sure Jason also stated that he had nothing to do with the time and the place and the delivery of the papers. It's just how it happened. I believe Jason. I don't know. I don't necessarily trust Olivia Wilde, but maybe that's just me. But either way, she gets served custody papers, opens them on stage. It's a big deal, whatever. Moving on to July of 2022, things have been kind of quiet since April. Olivia's like posting on Instagram and stuff, and she makes this post talking about how talented Florence is and how amazing it was to like watch her do her thing while she was directing or something like that. Then in early August of 2022, a lot of Florence fans start to notice that she is like pretty much absent for all of the promotion of the film outside of posting one pretty generic poster for the movie. She hasn't talked about it at all. She hasn't posted on her Instagram story, and this added to the already existing rumor that Olivia and Florence don't like each other that I mentioned earlier. Then a little bit later in August, we have like Florence in the press, and if she gets asked about the movie, she basically says that it shouldn't be reduced down to just a sex scene with a pop star, which is incredibly valid. And then you have Olivia talking to Variety, trying to dismiss the rumors about her and Florence being in a feud, and then she also talks about how Shia got fired from the film. And then all hell kind of breaks loose. Shia goes to Variety and says that he quit the film due to lack of rehearsal time, whatever that means, and then he shares text messages and a video with Variety from Olivia, and if you haven't seen the video, I will put it in here.
Shia, I just went riding my horse, very sweaty, but I wanted to reach out because I feel like I'm not ready to give up on this yet, and I too am heartbroken, and I want to figure this out. And you know, I think this might be a bit of a wake-up call for Miss Flo, and I want to know if you're open to giving this a shot with me, with us. If she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into it at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think? Is there hope? Is there hope? Will you let me know? Okay, bye.
But essentially, you know, it's Olivia Wilde kind of not begging, but I guess like asking for Shia to like, if he can come back, like if he can deal with the movie environment, because like she wants to make it work. And in the video, she's kind of like belittling Florence Pugh, calling her Miss Flo, and that she needs a reality check, and that did not help the rumors that her and Florence don't like each other. Now it's pretty obvious that they don't like each other, and it's also obvious now that she was lying, I guess, about firing Shia. The Shia side of this is like the least dramatic side. So now it's pretty much confirmed that Florence and Olivia do not like each other, and like, I don't know, it's just not looking good, right? Then the Wrap reports that Florence will be limiting her press for Don't Worry Darling to just the Venice Film Festival, which is crazy. Like that means that she is only doing press for this movie at this one event. She is not going to any other press junkets. She will not be doing any press tour, nothing of the sorts, which is a lot considering the fact that she is the lead of the movie. And then we have yesterday. Yesterday was a lot. So yesterday, Don't Worry Darling was premiered at the Venice Film Festival. To start out the long events of everything that happened yesterday, we start the day out with Olivia and Harry arriving in different boats, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal if you are in the Harry fandom, I guess. Harry and Olivia are dating, so you would think they would arrive together, but they don't. And this is interesting because Gemma Chan and Chris Pine arrived together in a boat. So like, I don't know, people I guess kind of just expected Olivia and Harry to show up together, and they didn't. Florence arrived in Venice about halfway through the press conference for the movie. Florence was never planned to do the press conference at the Venice Film Festival because she's currently filming Dune Part 2, and I guess just because of like her flights and her schedule, like she could only make it at that time, so she arrived halfway through the press conference, and if I do say so myself, she did show up looking pretty unbothered, which is kind of iconic of her. During the press conference, Olivia was asked a question about her and Florence and like the kind of feud going on between the two of them, and she answered the question, and honestly, from like a PR perspective, I think she answered the question pretty well, but she did kind of just brush it off. And then following that question, someone tried to ask about Shia, and she fully refused to answer that question, so I thought that was pretty interesting. And I think the funniest part of all of this is just like Chris Pine and his facial expressions. I love Harry Styles, I do. I really, really adore him. I've been a fan of One Direction since I was like 11, But not only is Harry definitely new to the world of acting, but he himself, he can't really answer questions very well. And I think one of the funniest things to come out of the Venice Film Festival is the clip of Harry being like, it just feels like a movie, you know? And Chris Pine's just sitting there like fully dissociating. Chris Pine is a funny man. That's kind of what went on with the press conference. And then we have the red carpet. We've got all of our actors showing up to the red carpet. They all look great. Nick Kroll is there, Chris Pine's there, we've got Olivia, we've got Harry. One thing that's pretty interesting is that on the red carpet, Harry and Olivia don't interact once. There's lots of speculation about the current relationship status, I guess, of Harry and Olivia after that video of Olivia came out where she's like kind of talking about Florence and stuff. A lot of people think that they've possibly broken up since then. We don't really know, but either way, like prior to this, Harry and Olivia have been photographed together a lot. Olivia's been with Harry on like a lot of his tours. She's been going to a lot of his shows. She's been going to most shows. And then once that video was released, she hasn't gone to a single show, I'm pretty sure. And they haven't been photographed together since. And so I don't know if they've broken up or if Harry's PR team is like, hey, let's not get you photographed with her as much as you have been because she's in some bad press right now. Whatever the reason is, I still find it very interesting that they didn't interact once on the red carpet, because if they are dating, like even like a wave or a smile or like a side hug, but none of that happened, which I do find kind of interesting. If you really want to get into speculation about things, like it kind of even looks like Harry refuses to put his arms around people in photos to avoid even like touching Olivia, which I think is maybe a bit of a drastic point to make, but Harry does look super awkward in these pictures. We also have Gemma Chan, who is a goddess, by the way. I love Gemma Chan. We have Gemma Chan like fully like directing Harry away from Olivia and like helping him avoid her, it seems. I don't know. I think it's also important to note, because we're going to come back to this in a few minutes, Harry and Nick Kroll have more chemistry than Harry and Olivia maybe ever have had. And that's important to note because we come back to that at the end of the night. Flo is the last one to show up on the carpet. She looks amazing. She looks stunning. She seems to be getting full support from the cast. Like, it's really cute. Chris Pine is taking pictures of her on his little camera. Nick Kroll is like hugging her. She's talking to Gemma Chan, but she doesn't interact with Olivia, obviously, and she does not interact with Harry on the red carpet. Now, once again, because all of this is like, there's so much speculation and there's so much rumors, we never really know like what's true and what's not, but I do think it says something that like the entire rest of the cast is like totally fine, very happy to see Florence, interacting with Florence, praising Florence, and giving her so much support, and that's not really happening for Olivia. I definitely think that says something. And then you have like the super awkward group photo that they take on the red carpet, and it kind of just looks like no one really wants to stand next to Olivia. Chris Pine's avoiding it, Nick Kroll's avoiding it. You have people making sure that someone's separating Harry and Olivia, someone's separating Florence and Olivia. It's giving very much divorced families at Christmas. It's a lot. But that's not even where we end. Because once we get into the theater, again, Harry and Olivia still aren't really talking that much to each other. I think they maybe say like, from what we have on video at least, they say maybe like one thing to each other. Chris Pine is sitting in between them, and then you've got a couple other people dividing Harry and Florence, and then Florence is at the end, sitting next to Nick. Again, the seating arrangement is giving divorced families at Christmas. And then in a very weird twist and turn of events, people think that Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine, which I like can't believe is even a sentence that I'm saying. As I'm filming this video, actually, Chris Pine's representative has spoken on the topic, so I'm gonna read that to you guys right now. Chris Pine's rep says Harry Styles did not spit on the actor, calling it a complete fabrication. There is nothing but respect between these two men, and any suggestion otherwise is a blatant attempt to create drama. Which I fully agree with. When I saw people saying that Harry spit on Chris Pine, I was like, you guys, come on. Harry could be the rudest man alive, and I think even he has enough common sense to not spit on somebody in public. They could hate each other so much, and I still don't think he would spit on him in public when there's cameras on him. Like, be for real for a second. And also, if they hated each other enough to where Harry would want to spit on Chris Pine, don't you think they wouldn't be sitting next to each other at the event? And then there's also the added, like, if Harry did spit on Chris, I don't think Chris would just look down and start laughing. Like, It looked nothing like he spat on him to me personally. Like, it just looked like he sat down and then Chris Pine stopped clapping to see if Harry would say anything to Olivia, and he didn't, so he started laughing because it's super, super awkward. Because he's like dividing the two of them. That's what it looks like. It's so funny how quickly rumors will spread over something like that. But it's official, he did not spit on him. Then the film is over and everyone's clapping, there's the standing ovation, and if you know anything about the Venice Film Festival, standing ovations are like a really big deal. It's kind of like, I guess the success of the movie is sort of based on how long the standing ovation is, which is really weird to me, but I guess it's just like how it works or whatever. And so the standing ovation for Don't Worry Darling was about 4 minutes long. During the standing ovation, Florence had her back turned to Olivia pretty much the entire time. And I don't really blame her. Like, I wouldn't really want to look in Olivia's direction either. But essentially the standing ovation was, I think, mostly for Florence. And it probably would have gone on longer, but about 3 minutes into the applause, Florence actually left. Like, she headed for the exit, and that prompted like a couple of the actors to follow her, eventually having Olivia follow her. So the standing ovation was cut short. Honestly, I think that was kind of a badass moment from Florence. Good for her. Like, people can say that Florence Pugh is being unprofessional or whatever, but I think that it's impressive and I am proud of her for leaving a work environment that was toxic for her. Like, regardless of anything, like if something is toxic for you, leave it. And I'm very proud of Florence for doing that. And to top the night off, when you just thought we couldn't go anywhere else, you thought, okay, this is it, that's where this ends, Harry Styles and Nick Kroll kiss. But yeah, that was a lot, wasn't it? And at this rate, we've got a couple of reviews back for Don't Worry Darling. I think last time I checked it had a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not good. I think the Minions movie had a higher percentage on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm not gonna lie. And I think the general consensus of the reviews is that like the movie in itself is fine, but it's basic and it's nothing special, and like it's a psychological thriller, but it's like very predictable and nothing out of the box. People are praising Florence's acting, obviously, because Florence Pugh is amazing. She's incredible. I think there's a bit of mixed reviews on Harry's acting, and I saw one person say that Olivia Wilde watched Jordan Peele's Get Out and was like, you know what? I want to do that for white people. Not my words. I'm pretty sure I saw it on Twitter, but I thought that that was kind of funny. I've been looking forward to Don't Worry Darling, and I still am looking forward to it. I'm not much of a film geek like my boyfriend is. I'm not necessarily. I watch movies, but I don't really tend to care about Rotten Tomatoes scores that much. So obviously I'm gonna go watch the movie and then make an assessment of it myself. But the reviews do upset me a little bit. Like, I was really excited for the movie. But yeah, that's like the rough timeline, I guess, of all the drama with Don't Worry Darling. It's a lot, and I guess the general consensus we can take from this is don't date your actors, or at least wait until the filming is done to date your actors. Florence Pugh is an icon and a legend, but that's not really new information. Chris Pine is really funny, and Gemma Chan is essentially unproblematic and a queen, and we love her for that. That was the timeline to the best of my ability. Shout out to my friend Jenna for helping me rally all of this together, because she knows a lot more about this drama than I do, and it's a lot. This is like 2 years worth of stuff just like piling and piling and piling up. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you, I guess, understand the drama if you're confused by it. Let me know if you are worried for Don't Worry Darling, because I don't know, I kind of am. I think I was expecting it to get better reviews than it did, unfortunately. Other than that, I guess that does it for this video. But yeah, make sure you follow me on all my other social medias. I'll probably be talking about the movie a lot more over there as well. And make sure you like this video, subscribe. Let me know if you liked this kind of video. I think this is the first time I've ever really talked about something like this on my channel, and it was fun. It was fun to do. So that does it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.